United States senators have locked arms with Dianne Feinstein and the NRA to screw gun owners here in the next few weeks. We are going to name these 11 Republican senators coming up here in just a minute, guys. An outrageous betrayal of gun owners by these senators and by the NRA. We are going to tell you exactly what is happening in Washington, D.C., exactly what is happening with this deal that was cut behind the scenes in Washington, and just what you can do about it, guys. Welcome in, everyone, to the American Firearms Association show. I'm Patrick Parsons, Executive Vice President of AFA, alongside my colleague, Ben Dorr. Welcome in, Ben. Good to have you, my friend. This sellout is unbelievable. Let us know where you're watching from, guys. Let's get everybody hopping on here, and then we're going to talk about it. Ben is going to list these 11 Republican senators, and I think in addition to the Democrats as well, who are co-sponsors of this legislation, S3623, otherwise known as VAWA, the Misnamed Violence Against Women Act, guys. But come on in here, and Ben, when you get a chance, name those 11 Republican senators, because a lot of the people out there watching are in the states represented by these senators. Go ahead and name these senators, and then everybody can start taking action on these guys.
So it's never a good thing when you see 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats on the same bill. I'll just say that. People love the whole idea of bipartisanship, but bipartisan gun control is a good way to screw over gun owners. The NRA, well, they've been doing this for many, many years, and these Republicans, well, here's their names right here for you. On the top of the list, we've been talking about this for some time, and now the bill has just come out. We've been talking about this for a long time, but the bill is finally here, and here's the list. We have Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. She was the very first person. She's been the face person alongside Senator Lisa Murkowski from, Arkansas, Alaska? I got this mixed. Hold on, I got my list here. Alaska.
Murkowski's from Alaska.
The two of them have been the main two Republicans who have been on the front lines with Dianne Feinstein, with the NRA. They're the two major Republicans who are supporting this legislation. So we have Joni Ernst, we have Lisa Murkowski, we have Susan Collins. Susan Collins, these people should know better, but they're on it. She's from Maine. They're pushing this bill. The next senator, and it's really outrageous. This is West Virginia. Should know better than this. You have Shelley Moore. Okay, so if you're from West Virginia, you need to be contacting Shelley Moore and telling her that she should take her name off of this bill. The next one is Senator Rob Portman from Ohio. We have John Cornyn from Texas. There's no big surprise there. No big surprise there. We have from North Dakota, we have Kevin Cramer. Senator Kevin Cramer has put his name on this betrayal bill. We have Tom Tillis from North Carolina. We have Jerry Moran. Is that how you say his last name there? From Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas. What the hell are you signing on to bills like this for, Jerry? Right. We have Richard Burr from North Carolina, and we have Roy Blunt from Missouri. These are the 11 traitors, quite frankly, to the Second Amendment. They're doing this bad deal with Dianne friggin' Feinstein, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, and so for those of y'all just now joining, guys, we are going through the NRA's betrayal of gun owners. Joe Biden's back is against the wall. Okay, his approval ratings are in the tank. He's got war going on in Eastern Europe, total disaster, inflation through the roof. Everything's more expensive. Gas prices are about to go to $5 or $6 a gallon. And now the NRA is going to throw Joe Biden. The National Rifle Association is throwing Joe Biden a lifeline and saying, you know what? We used to oppose this bill because of the so-called boyfriend loophole. But now that you dropped it, we're going to support this bill. We're going to give clearance for these 11 Republicans to go out and to support gun control in the United States Senate and potentially give Joe Biden a win. Now, we can still stop this legislation, guys. And down in the comments section or in the description, we have a link that you can sign a email and petition that goes directly to your senators in Washington, D.C., guys. But make no mistake about it, this bill would not be happening. And the bill is H.R. 3623. It's called VAWA. It would not be happening without the NRA allowing it to happen. And some of y'all ask, what's the gun control in this legislation? Okay. The gun control that still is in this legislation, and this is what we put in our emails that go out to our tens and thousands of members and supporters all across the country, guys. As we told you last week, here are the two anti-gun provisions. So you can be educated on this bill if you talk to your senators or you talk to other gun owners. There's a new requirement that would send an incident report to local law enforcement every time someone fails a NICS check. Studies have shown that 94% of NICS checks that fail are false positives. This legislation would encourage law enforcement to open a criminal investigation against you for failing a NICS check, allowing you to be harassed for no reason. Secondly, there's language in this bill that allows state and local prosecutors to become deputized as part-time U.S. attorneys and state and local cops to be deputized as part-time ATF agents to investigate and prosecute violations of this new law. Ben, the consequences of this are massive, and the bill must be defeated. And I don't know what else to say. Gun owners are pissed. You can see them down in the comments section. If you are pissed that we could defeat this bill, in the Senate if the NRA was not behind this bill, then you need to hop on board and become a member of the American Firearms Association today, guys. Join up at joinafa.com, www.joinafa.com, or .org, I'm sorry, joinafa.org. Become a member today. You get your free t-shirt and membership decal. Tons and tons of y'all are joining in big waves over the last number of months, guys. Hop on board and become a member today. Ben, do you have the Democrats pulled up who are supporting this bill as well, who are co-sponsors?
Yep. Give me just 1 second here. We'll switch on over.
All right.
This can be a lovely list. Of course, top on the list, I'll just read it off real quick here for you. There are more Republicans on this gun control bill right now than there are Democrats. Just for those of you who are wondering, there are 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats on the bill. We have Dumb Dick Durbin is the face person for this. He's been pushing this hardcore. So he's from Illinois, of course. We have Richard Durbin from Illinois. We have Patrick Leahy from Vermont. We have Patty Murray from
Washington.
Yes, she is from Washington. And we have Janine Shaheen, or Janine, New Hampshire. There you go. We have Brian. I don't even know some of these people. They're just they throw their names on these bills, anything for gun control, and they're very happy to do it. We have Brian Schatz is one of the co-sponsors. What's that?
Yep, Hawaii.
Yep. We have Sherrod Brown from Ohio. We have Ron Wyden from Oregon. We have Richard Blumenthal, Dick Blumenthal. This guy's been a loser. These people should be out of office. They shouldn't be up there doing this stuff anymore. We have Joe Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin. Should know better than that. And we have Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada. I think she's from
Nevada. I mean, is that all of them, Ben, or are there more?
Yep, that's the 10.
There's actually more Republican co-sponsors in this bill than there are Democrats, believe it or not, guys. And that is all because the National Rifle Association gave clearance to these Republicans to support this legislation. Period. Game over. End of story. The NRA in Washington, D.C. is screwing you behind the scenes. Ask yourself this. Eric Spencer said, boycott the NRA. They are a lost cause. Eric, don't just boycott the NRA. Join up with the American Firearms Association. Hop on board today at joinafa.org. Get on board and become a member. We are going to read some of the new members coming on here in just a few minutes, guys. But the NRA is screwing you behind the scenes in Washington. They're screwing you. Ask yourself this. If you're on their email list, and I think all of us are at some level, have you gotten an email telling you to oppose the so-called Violence Against Women Act, aka VAWA? No, you haven't. That is because behind the scenes, the NRA and their lobbyists, led by Gordon Speed, who is our top lobbyist in Washington, D.C., and Wayne LaPierre, they are cutting a deal and throwing Joe Biden a lifeline to push gun control through the United States Senate and screw all of us. Somebody commented earlier, Ben, I don't know if you can find it. It was way down. We've got hundreds and hundreds of comments across dozens of social media pages across the country right now, guys. Somebody commented and said, NRA, not really associated. They said the so-called Violence Against Women Act has destroyed more women and men's lives than any other legislation in history. And I don't doubt that. And that goes in with not the assault weapons ban, but what was the other one that the Democrats had? The Lautenberg domestic gun ban.
Yes.
The Lautenberg domestic gun ban, where nobody wants disagreements, right? But you get in a fight with a significant other or whatever, and then you get thrown on a list, buddy, and you cannot go and get a firearm and exercise your Second Amendment rights. And that is what VAWA is all about. Look at the people pushing this. Dianne Feinstein, Joni Ernst, Lisa Murkowski, these communist, socialist, Marxist Democrats in Washington, D.C., and the NRA. This is going to throw more gun owners on lists, and it's going to screw more gun owners for no reason whatsoever. Read that comment, Ben. Read that comment right there.
Christopher Cannon says, this is why I stopped giving the NRA money years ago. They are not for the Second Amendment. Patrick, you made the perfect point a minute ago. Joe Biden is like choking out in his presidency here. He's failing at everything he touches. Democrats are on the ropes. It's looking to be a political bloodbath in November. This is a perfect time to not give the Democrats, not give Joe Biden, not give rhinos, don't give them a lifeline and let them pass something that makes them sit there and be able to thump their chest in November and say, look, we passed this bill, the Violence Against Women Act. It's going to keep women safe. Come out and vote for me. Don't give that to them, NRA. Don't do that crap. But this is what Wayne LaPierre has been doing for decades. Since I was a kid, Wayne LaPierre was selling out gun owners, making deals on gun control, and they're doing it again now. That's why you need to join the American Firearms Association, because it was our members and supporters in 2019 that raised holy hell when the NRA was out there speaking up in favor of red flag gun confiscations, when Chris Cox, their executive director, was out there calling on Congress to pass red flags. It was the American Firearms Association that poured the pressure on, talked to Trump's domestic policy staff in the West Wing, talked to these people and said, gun owners don't support red flag gun confiscations. They don't support this gun control. The NRA is lying to you, and it's going to screw over your base. That is why red flags didn't pass. And we can do the same thing here, but we have to continue to grow as the NRA dies so that we can hold this no compromise line with these people and stop garbage bills like this brand new VAWA bill from becoming law.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. And guys, you're going to want to hang on, because what we have here is about a dozen gun control bills and pieces of legislation over the last almost 100 years that the NRA has supported in Washington, D.C. And we are dealing with the consequences of the NRA's deal cutting in Washington, D.C. We're dealing with that today. We're going to read those off, and we've got some clips for you of Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox of the NRA talking about their support for gun control. You're not going to want to miss that. But first, I want to read off some of the new members who are coming in right now. I'm going to read just a few of them. Oh, there's my old buddy, the great Joe Romeo. Joe is in. Hey, Joe, how are you? In Musella, Georgia. We've got Aaron in Catskill, New York. If you want to hear your name read and your hometown that you're probably proud of, guys, if you want to hear your name as new members of the organization, please join up at joinafa.org. Ben, if you can flash it on the screen if you get a chance, that would be great. Joinafa.org. coming on in bundles right now. Wesley in Albertville, Alabama. Good to have you on board, Wes. Appreciate you, my man. Did I say Aaron? Aaron in Catskill, New York. Good to have you on board, Aaron. Zachary in Buffalo Center, Iowa is on board as a member of the American Firearms Association. Nice. Tim in Osceola, Wisconsin.
Depends on where you're from. Where I come from, it's Osceola, but in other places it is Osceola. So depends
I think that's an old native. I think it's an old Native American name or what have you there. I think they have it in Florida too. So, but yeah, guys, hop on board, come in and join up as members of the American Firearms Association. Here's the list, guys. The list is half of the page of this page of notes that I have right here of the gun control supported by the NRA over the years. And we go all the way back 88 years ago to the 1934 National Firearms Act. Guys, I've heard it a million times from gun owners. We want to repeal here at the American Firearms Association. We want to repeal the National Firearms Act of 1934.
Yes.
Most of the problems that we have today stem from that act. If you want to repeal the NFA, say yes down in the comments. Let us know that you want to get rid of the National Firearms Act. 1938 is the National or the Gun Control Act. So that was a follow-up to 34. The NRA supported this gun control. 1934, 1938. 1968. So Lyndon Johnson, 30 years later, they got the 1968 Gun Control Act through. 1986 is the Firearms Owners Protection Act. Yes, under Ronald Reagan, the machine gun ban, which was Reagan's big sellout. The NRA supported it. The Brady Bill. What did we find out a few weeks ago, guys? That the ATF, the FBI, have over 920 million records of firearms purchases, accessory purchases, etc. They have those on record. All of that stems from the Brady Bill. 1994, the NRA supported it. If you're not sick and tired of the NRA after me reading 5 of these, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take, guys. Join up with the American Firearms Association.
And we have a video right here, and we can play these anytime you want, Patrick.
You have gun-free school zones, Ben. So, guys, what Ben is about to play is I think it's a 10 or 15-second video of Wayne LaPierre, who is still the head. He's still the head of the NRA, saying he supports gun-free school zones. So, Ben, when you get a chance, play that video right now.
All right, here we go.
We believe in absolutely gun-free, zero-tolerance, totally safe schools.
There it was. Simple. That was like 5 seconds. Play it again. If you guys missed that, get ready. This is Wayne LaPierre, Pepe Le Pew LaPierre, the guy who is spending over $1 million, if not more, a month of NRA member dues on legal fees because they were so stupid. And it's not just the issue they're dealing with in New York. It is the marketing firm that they dealt with.
Oh yeah, huge, like total fraud and corruption, total misuse of donor dollars, kickbacks, and tens and tens of millions of donor dollars flushed down the drain for their slush funds.
Yeah, exactly. Tens of millions of dollars they're spending right now. Ben, play that clip again of Wayne LaPierre saying he supports gun-free school zones.
Here we go.
We believe in absolutely gun-free, zero-tolerance, totally safe schools.
There it is, guys. There it is for you again.
It's like, so here was, it's like they do these gimmies to the left all the time, right? So the Democrats and the rhinos sit there and say, oh my gosh, we need to do a deal here. And the NRA goes, yeah, we'll give that one. So all across the country, you have madmen, kids, they're shooting up schools. Bad things are happening, all because of these deals that were done by the NRA that made these things become federal law, supported by the gun owners, by these people. And now this is where the problems come in. That's why these kids are getting shot in schools. And it was all done because the NRA supported this gun control in the past, and they're doing it to this very day.
Yep. I mean, when did Columbine happen? I think it was it 94, 95, 96? Like literally right after the Gun-Free School Zones Act passed. We posted a meme recently across all of our social media pages of the gun rack, right? Where guys used to have gun racks in the back of their trucks, shotguns, rifles, whatever,
Right.
at school. And nobody cared for like decades, man. Probably back into what, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even up into the 80s. And all of a sudden, Wayne LaPierre and the NRA start pushing this gun-free school zone crap. Then the school shootings start up in earnest, in a big way.
Yep.
Blame that on the NRA. Get out. Get out.
So,
Now,
exactly. So you talk about how the NRA has given you talk about the Brady bill that passed. We talk about the background check system that was used to give the ATF, what'd you say, almost 1 billion records?
920 million.
some odd million records. Well, here's a little video of the NRA. This was their executive director, Chris Cox, who has since moved on. He probably sensed that the ship was sinking. But here's another video of them calling on Congress to pass bills that put more names into the background check system, more data for the ATF. Check this out.
Believes that anyone who is a danger to themselves or others should not be allowed to have a firearm, any firearm, period. That's why Congress needs to immediately pass Senator Cornyn's bill to make the background check system better and stronger by making sure it has all the records of violent criminals and those who are found by a court to have a dangerous mental illness.
These people,
yep.
This system doesn't work. You want to make the background check system better? It doesn't work now. It never worked. It was never designed to work. It was all about giving data to the government. It was all about building a list of gun owners. All this crap gets funneled right in there. And that video is only a couple of years old. The betrayal of the NRA, like you're talking about, Patrick, goes back a very, very long ways. They've been doing this for years.
Yeah. I mean, if those videos don't get your blood boiling like they do mine, guys, I don't know what will. And I know there's a lot of competition for your Second Amendment dollars, not only for ammo and guns where you could spend your money. The American Firearms Association is not scared to call out the NRA. We're not scared of them for 1 second. We are exposing them, and we are driving our truck, Freedom Convoy, baby, right through there. And we are letting gun owners across this country know that this time for compromise, there never was a time for it, but the consequences of the NRA's compromises we are dealing with right now, and we have to rip it apart. We have to rip their compromises apart. And if Republicans take back control in 2023, the time is to go on offense and rip this gun control entire web of nonsense that the NRA has built with the radical left in this country. It's time to tear it apart. Now, the list, we're only about a third of the way through the list here, Ben. You just played, I guess we could call that Brady. It was Chris Cox, who's since been fired by the NRA. He was, I guess he got in a fight with LaPierre or something. I don't know what it was, but the Brady bill, they supported the Brady bill in 94. Every time there's an expansion of Brady, more records, more people going in there. The NRA is there supporting it. So we got Brady bill. What else? Let's jump to Fix NICS. So Fix NICS was sending billions of dollars to the states to send records of gun owners up to Washington, D.C. 3 weeks ago, we find out 920 million records at the ATF. This wouldn't have happened without billions of dollars that the NRA supported flowing into the states all across the country. Red flags. Do you have red flags, Ben? Do you have that video? It is 4 years ago. Chris Cox, the NRA, when red flags was hot, they also refer to red flags as extreme risk protection orders. Okay. The NRA supported them, and we have the video. Ben, play that thing just as soon as you can.
Sure. Here we go.
Importantly, we need to stop dangerous people before they act. So Congress should provide funding for states to adopt risk protection orders. This can help prevent violent behavior before it turns into a tragedy. These laws allow a court to intervene and temporarily remove firearms when a person threatens violence to themselves or others. To be effective and constitutional, they should have strong due process protections and require that the person get treatment.
Yeah, it's like a walking, talking left-wing talking point sheet out of
Yes.
the Democrat, out of the left. I mean, Ben, break it down. No trial, right? What else
Right.
with extremist
None of
protection
this
orders?
stuff, none of this stuff works the way he's saying it. So they're calling on Congress to pass funding for every state in America to pass red flag laws. And so all across the country, there's what, 15, 17 different states now that have red flag gun confiscation laws on the books. None of those things have any due process at all. It all comes down to somebody gets to call in and say, Patrick, I know that guy's got a gun. He hangs it over his shoulder when he does videos. This guy's he's a total right winger, and I think he's dangerous. And judges will issue those ERPOs, those extreme risk protection orders, all day long, because they don't want to be the judge who didn't issue the order to confiscate without due process your firearms, and then something bad happens. So all across the country, these laws have been passed. More states are pushing them all the time, and there's no due process involved. None of these states have actually passed them in that way at all. And this is what the NRA wants. They want more of this, more red flags. We want to stop violent criminals before they commit crime. And actually, I didn't get that one section of the video in there, but he talks about how red flag laws will help address this culture of violence in America. These, like you said, these are the left-wing talking points that's being shoved down our throats by the left, pushing their gun control agenda for forever. They've been doing this forever. And now you get the NRA stands up there in their fancy suits and ties and gives the same freaking speech that Dianne Feinstein has been giving for 40 years.
Yep, exactly, Ben. And we've got more video, believe it or not, guys. I think we got a couple more videos, and we could probably find more if we had a little bit more time today. But I want to take a second here to read off some of the new members that are coming in. Just a couple guys here. The list is just building up. JoinAFA.org. Hop on board, become a member at JoinAFA.org. We've got Scott in Douglasville, Georgia, has just come on board. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, bud. There's Brandon has just come on from Franklin, Pennsylvania, the newest member of the American Firearms Association. Let's get to these other videos, and I want to walk everybody back. Stick with us here, guys. I want to walk everybody back to, gosh, I think this video was 10, 12, 14 years ago. Harry Reid used to be, does anybody remember Harry Reid from Nevada? Who remembers Harry Reid? Communist, left-wing piece of trash, Democrat senator. He was the majority leader, like what Chuck Schumer is now for the Democrats. Yes. And he got funding for a big gun range out in Nevada. Okay, well, guess who he worked with? The NRA. Okay, it's a gun range, whatever. It's a waste of art. It's like taxpayers in Georgia or in Minnesota or Ohio shouldn't have to be paying for a gun range in Nevada, right. But the NRA got the money. Okay, yeah. But here's what happened. As a condition of that, the NRA endorsed Harry Reid. The NRA praised Harry Reid, and you're going to see that video here in just a minute of Wayne LaPierre out at the gun range praising Harry Reid. And the point here is, guys, these guys are now being exposed at the NRA for what they have done, and they're hurting badly. And we are not going to let our boot off their neck. We're just not going to do it, and we're going to keep playing these videos, and we're going to keep encouraging you to come on board and join up with the American Firearms Association today.
They're hurting the movement. They have been hurting the Second Amendment
That's a good way of putting it.
For many, many, many years. And a lot of people just didn't believe that was possible, but it's become so clear. Even the left is out there saying, look, the NRA supports this, they support that. If I had $1 for every time I heard a Democrat in a gun control hearing somewhere saying the NRA supports these common sense red flag laws, the NRA supports the Violence Against Women Act, this bill that we're talking about here today, the NRA supports all these common sense restrictions. If I had $1, I'd be half as wealthy as Wayne LaPierre is. So this demonstration of these videos just goes to show that over the course of these years and these decades now, this is how we have landed where we have with the Second Amendment. This is why it's still so easy for the left to attack our gun rights, because the NRA who at least up till a certain point has been the big dog in the room. Well, they were the ones selling us out. So I'm going to play this clip here with Harry Reid. Go ahead, Patrick.
And then we're gonna get to a question here in a minute. Go ahead and play this. Harry Reid being praised by Wayne LaPierre in Nevada, and then we're gonna get to Nick's question here in just a second. Go ahead.
Harry Reid, massive gun control Democrat Senate Majority Leader. Listen to Wayne.
Usually fighting alongside Senator Reid back in Washington, D.C. for Second Amendment freedom. And I'll tell you, he's a true champion of the Second Amendment back in Washington, D.C. on the national.
So there's LaPierre. Yeah, most of us never seen that, right? We're out, 10, 15 years ago, hey, fighting for gun rights. LaPierre's out with Reid, Senator Reid in Nevada, the guy who pushes through anti-gun Supreme Court justices, Kagan and other people, and every bit of left-wing gun control out there, Harry Reid supporting it. And there's LaPierre praising Harry Reid in Nevada. Absolutely outrageous. Now, Nick asked a question. He said, the bill that you're talking about has been introduced since last March. Correct, Nick, in the House, on the House side, okay? The House side bill has already passed, and yes, it was significantly worse than this Senate legislation that has been introduced. But that is where the NRA cut the gun control deal. Yep. Back in December, it was announced by Feinstein, Joni Ernst from Iowa, and Lisa Murkowski from Alaska that they were going to go into negotiate, and Dick Durbin from Illinois, big gun control guy, that they were going to go in and cut a deal on this legislation. So they introduced since then, a couple weeks ago, a new quote unquote VAWA bill, S30, 3623, yep, that still has these two terrible gun control provisions. And the NRA is nowhere to be found, not telling you to oppose it. So they obviously are supporting it. Garland says the NRA has lost their way. Soon they're going to compromise themselves off of a cliff. We need a stronger association to pick up the baton. The NRA dropped it and have been kicking it instead of picking it up. You have found the organization, Garland, the American Firearms Association. Join up today, www.joinafa.org, and become a member today. Do we have any more videos, Ben, or not?
Let's see if we have, I thought we had one more over here. We have universal background checks. Of course, this stuff's from back in the 90s. Universal background checks, what we call national gun registration. We've been fighting against this legislation in state capitals for decades now. Mm-hmm. Background checks lead to gun registration. They lead to a gun registry, right? Yes. That's what the ATF, having this whole list of guns and gun owners, is all about. It doesn't stop any crime at all. And instead, it makes you a felon if you give your wife, your husband, your significant other a firearm for self-defense. If you give your old Army rifle to your grandson for Christmas, without going through a background check on your own family member, this in many places can make you a felon if this stuff becomes law at the federal level. Okay. And so we've been fighting this in states all across the country. It's one of the two big things that Democrats are always pushing for, and Republicans: universal background checks and red flag gun confiscations. And here is Wayne LaPierre, more than 20 years ago, almost 25 years ago, standing up here telling everybody that the NRA supports background checks and closing the gun show loophole. Watch this.
About what's reasonable and what's not. We think it's reasonable to provide mandatory instant criminal background checks for every sale at every gun show. No loopholes anywhere for anyone.
What a piece of garbage. I'm gonna play that again. That makes my blood boil. The closing the gun show. This is leftism 100%. This is when the Democrats started using phrases like the gun show loophole. People like Wayne LaPierre are the ones who coined this crap. Watch this again.
About what's reasonable and what's not. We think it's reasonable to provide mandatory instant criminal background checks for every sale at every gun show. No loopholes anywhere for anyone.
Dead gun shows. If that
outrageous.
Yeah.
Absolutely outrageous, guys. Please join with the American Firearms Association. Help us grow, help us get bigger, help us fight back, and help us fight back against the NRA. If the NRA would have just joined with AFA in opposing VAWA, this bill would never be passing the U.S. Senate right now.
Be dead. It would be dead for sure.
It would be dead as a freaking hammer. But the NRA is fighting against the American Firearms Association. They're fighting against gun owners alongside Dianne Feinstein. And this is why legislation like VAWA continues to exist at this point in time. So I see you guys are joining in massive numbers right now all across the country. You guys are joining up. When the NRA are the people who are out there coining the gun control phrases that the left has been using for 20 years to kick us in the face. It's time for them to go the way of the dodo. It's time for the NRA to totally disappear. Here's
the other thing. Yeah, Ben, I mean, this horse is never going to be dead, and we're going to continue to kick it over and over and over again. So we can't get enough of that. We're going to continue to play those videos. But let's not forget, there's two more gun controls recently that the NRA supported. One is the bump stock. Remember after Las Vegas, this guy up in the hotel or whoever the hell it was, is the bump stocks, Ben. And Trump supported that. President Trump supported bump stocks. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. It was done. Was it done through the legislature? I think it was done bureaucratically. The bump stocks, NRA supported it. We opposed it. Period. We opposed it. And all of our state level organizations opposed it as well. And the other one was in 2012, 2013. The Toomey Manchin expanded federal background check bill, otherwise known as National Gun Registration. The NRA and Alan Gottlieb at the Second Amendment Foundation, they tried to cut a deal. They tried to cut a deal to get this thing passed with Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania and Joe Manchin from West Virginia. And thankfully, they were called out on it, and that legislation was defeated. And now that brings us to, and we've talked about it endlessly, Ben just did the VAWA bill. It's got two terrible gun control provisions in it, guys. And it's just unacceptable. And they are trying to pull a fast one on you, and we are not going to let that happen. And the way to not let that happen is, number one, sign your petition that's attached to this video to Congress. Let your senators know, hell no, do not support this legislation. Secondly, you can join up at the American Firearms Association, joinafa.org, get your membership t-shirt and decal. And some of you may ask, where does that money go? Guys, we are spending tens of thousands of dollars all the time all over the country to let gun owners know that this is happening. Make noise about it, petitions, calls, emails, put pressure on your senators. That is where your financial contributions are going. You join a gun organization like AFA so that we can kick tail and try to stop this stuff. And the fact is, it's a 50-50 Senate right now. It takes 60 votes to pass this legislation, and these traitorous Republicans, Joni Ernst, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Shelley Moore Capito, Rob Portman, John Cornyn, Kevin Kramer, Tom Tillis, Jerry Moran, Richard Burr, and Roy Blunt are selling you out, and they need to hear from you. And the more you can join up and the more you can chip in and donate to AFA, the more that we can put heat on these people and try to stop this legislation dead in its tracks. I got on a rant there, Ben.
Well,
sorry.
Imagine, think about this for a minute. We've heard from time to time from gun owners who say something to the effect of, well, we should be grateful that the NRA has been there over the years because we wouldn't have what we have now if the NRA wasn't there. That is so unbelievably wrong. And the reason that's wrong is because it's all about a vacuum. It's all about a vacuum. If the NRA wasn't there, another organization would be there. And that's reality. And it would have been there this entire time if the NRA didn't exist. The reality is gun control is where it is in America. It is such a prevalent political talking point for the radical left because the NRA has been at the top for all of this time doing gun control deals. And it's all part of the shtick, right? The media rails on the NRA, and Democrat politicians get up there and say, this is NRA extreme legislation. But they all know that's not true. The politicians know it's not true. The media knows it's not true. And the NRA knows it's not true. It's all part of the same deal. Imagine a world where the NRA didn't exist any longer, but instead there was a titanous, no compromise, no deals ever, pro-gun organization with millions and millions of members holding the line against gun control. This issue would die entirely. The gun control issue would be dead. But as long as the NRA is allowed to sit there at the top, which they're really not anymore. They're disintegrating. They have hemorrhaged hundreds of thousands of gun owners who have said, I'm done with this crap. I don't support any of this stuff. But as long as they are still, if their name still is allowed to be used in this way, our Second Amendment rights will never be safe. Republicans will always feel like it's okay for them to get on board with gun control bills. Democrats will, Harry Reid, the NRA was giving donor dollars, PAC checks to Harry Reid. Your donor dollars have gone into the pockets. If you were giving money to the NRA, your money has been going into the pockets of gun control Democrats, not just at the national and the federal level, but in state level too. I know for a fact they give money to anti-gun Democrats. They give endorsements to anti-gun Democrats in states all across the country. We could talk about it for another hour. These people need to be knocked down to the bottom, and a no compromise, never deal, never group needs to make it to the top, so that everybody in Washington, D.C. and in these state capitals across the country know that if they crap all over gun owners, if they try to pass gun control, there's going to be hell to pay. That's what needs to happen here. That's what the American Firearms Association is all about. I'd encourage you to join us. We'd love to have you, frankly, as a member, to see your name on our list. Go to joinafa.org. It's www.joinafa.org. Become a member of the American Firearms Association and help us fight back against this stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned that. I couldn't have said it better, Ben. I mean, that was a pretty damn good breakdown of where the NRA is right now, or where they're not. And you mentioned lists of gun owners, guys. I'm on so many freaking political email lists in this country right now, by virtue of politics and everything else. At the American Firearms Association, we will never rent your list out, sell your list, sell your name, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Period. We value your membership more than anything in the world. And I'm sick of all these damn emails of like every politician in the world is just like whoring out their lists. Like, and I'm getting all these 2-bit candidates coming into my email list who've never done a damn thing and telling you the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm pissed about that. And I know there's a lot of competition for your political dollars in 2022. We're making the case today. Join up with an organization like AFA. We're going to have awesome new content coming for you guys soon. Podcasts. We're fighting like hell in Washington. We're fighting like hell in state capitals. We had Alabama passing constitutional carry yesterday, fighting like hell in Georgia and elsewhere, guys. Join up at joinafa.org. Let me read some of our new members off here, guys, and then we'll wrap. Garland from Bedford Heights, Ohio, is a $125 member. Wow, Garland, we really appreciate that. Thank you for coming on and joining up. We have Timothy. Let's see. Timothy from Marion, Ohio, has just joined up. Thanks, Timothy. Remember, guys, when you join up, you get your t-shirt membership decal as well. It's going to come in the mail here in the next couple of weeks. Wayne from Pleasant Hill, Missouri. I bet it's beautiful out there. Sounds pleasant. No pun intended, Wayne. And Brian is another $125 member from Amanda, Ohio. My sister's name, Amanda, Ohio. Of course, basic membership is $35, guys. You're going to get the t-shirt, membership decal. Hop on board and become a member of the American Firearms Association today. Ben, this has been a hell of a show. A lot of clips. We're going to be back soon as well. But wrap us up. I know we have a lot of work to do. this afternoon and wrap us up and do one more hit, and we'll be out of here.
Hey guys, that's the show. That's what's happening right now in DC. We have so far stopped every federal gun control bill from being passed through the United States Senate. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi has passed a lot of stuff in through the House, but in the Senate so far, we've done a hell of a job stopping this stuff from passing. So we need to continue to hold this line all the way through the November elections. The NRA has no business pushing this crap. VAWA, it's like DARE, you know, it's like it's another one of those programs that is supposedly about protecting women. It won't. It'll fracture families. It'll destroy families. It'll hurt women. It'll hurt men. It'll hurt our Second Amendment. That's the way this crap, when it's force fed to us by the federal government, that's how this crap is always intended to go down. Okay. It never makes our lives better. When was the last time a federal law made your life better? That's why we're fighting against S3623, the so-called VAWA bill. That's why the NRA should be ashamed of themselves for joining on this. So get on board with the American Firearms Association. We're going to keep fighting this bill. Again, it was just introduced in the Senate. The House version has already passed. And now we're on to the Senate version of this bill. And we're going to be giving you guys more updates on this as it adds. I'm certain it'll add more co-sponsors. There'll be a lot more people getting on board with this.
Yeah, this is a bad one. This is a real bad one.
This is a bad one. There's likely going to be hearings on this bill in the very near future. We're going to be bringing all of that information to you. Continue, please, to sign your petitions. Send your direct connect emails that are on the top of these videos. It should be in the description everywhere. It's certainly in the comment section on every channel that this is playing. And for those of you who are watching, again, this is broadcasting on many different channels. So some have a handful, have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people watching. Others have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people watching right now. So you are joined on this broadcast right now by undoubtedly thousands and thousands of gun owners across the country on different platforms. So do me a favor, share this video with your family and friends. Click on the link, sign your petition, and we'll have more updates on this bill going forward very soon.
That's it. Love it, guys. One last comment, Ben, before you press off. Paul said, good job. Many of us don't feel we have anywhere else to turn. At 50 years old, I was enrolled at 12 years old at the NRA, and they are failing us. That's 4 decades, guys. The NRA is MIA, and when they are there, they are screwing you. Join up with AFA.org. Have a great day, everyone. We love y'all, and we will see you soon. Talk to you later.